think we might be live. Yep. Hello, Gun Nation. How you doing, Mr. Kotaboy?
I'm doing well. I hope everybody can hear me just fine.
Yep. Loud and clear. Well, we do not have KS Gun Guy or 1776 this evening. They are both out on assignment in different areas. So we have Mr. KB32 joining us. If y'all, I'm sure a lot of y'all already subscribed to him. If you're not, he'll leave a comment. Y'all can grab the comment and go straight to his channel and subscribe to him. He's a wealth of knowledge, good guy. Yep, CZ fanboys are in the house. We appreciate all of y'all being on. We've got about 28 viewers. Probably more will be jumping in. Yep, they're saying you have beautiful light. Look at that. Lighten up that
hair. I don't know if I can get my hair. It was looking as good as yours, though. According to the AK operate, what the heck is? Oh God, the practical AK nurse, Johnny. He says that he likes my hair. That's all.
Most of the time I see you always tell you need a hairbrush because your hair's all freaking winded out. Or some good hairspray, one or the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, we appreciate all the subscribers being on. And if y'all haven't subscribed to the other subscribers on here, please do. But we decided to mix it up a little bit. And I've got some questions for KB I'm going to hit him with. He doesn't even know what they're going to be. Because I'm sure a lot of subscribers want to know what... where do you reside, Mr. Kotaboy?
Interesting question. A little bit of everywhere. I am. I actually live in North Carolina, but I work in Pennsylvania. So it's quite a pain in the rear end because I do commute back and forth on a weekly basis. But it does allow for me to have access, or well, let's just say this. I spend time away from my family during the week, and I use it to spend it with my other family, my YouTube family. So I look at it like this. Instead of sitting around drinking on the weekdays in a bar, you know, and then going back to the hotel or apartment or whatever it is I'm staying at, I use it to make videos, have fun, go shooting, train. And as a matter of fact, like today, you do so many firearm reviews. People think that's great, but if you're ever in a competition world, what it does is it prevents you from being consistent with your competition firearms. Yeah. So just yesterday, I went out and did another comparison between two striker fire guns, and I shot like crap. And the reason is that everybody's like, you shoot like shit, and that's part of my French. But the thing is, if you don't have the access or you're not able to shoot the same firearm all the time, or you're having to switch between firearms all the time, you will never be consistent until you do. So it's a tough thing for me. So anyway, but that's it. To answer your question, long story short, I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I work in central Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I was going to say KB and I are both road warriors. So a lot of the time when he's traveling, I'm traveling and we're driving. So we'll talk to each other, you know, sometimes, hell, a couple hours, depending on how far we're driving. But yeah, it's always good to catch up with the brethren and, you know, catch up with the farmers, and always a good time. But yeah, and as y'all, you know, some of the new subscribers that are jumping on this, if y'all don't know, I live in Texas, born and raised, and but I travel 5 states. So I'm constantly driving on the road. And as a lot of people know, from my crappy internet signal at a lot of the hotels, you know, that's just kind of what we have to do. Hey, Rabbi Jesus, we appreciate you. $4.99. Look at that. We appreciate you. Yes, and CZ Life for sure. Yeah, he's always hitting us with the $4.99, so we appreciate it. So, but yep, and okay, Pops says he's here. Just to be clear, he's here for KB32.
Sorry about that.
He's always hitting us with the $4.99. So
rookie move. I'm sorry. Hold on, stand by. There we go. Okay, I'm trying to switch up computers here so I can actually kind of look at this screen and look like I'm looking at that screen and not be screwing up. There we go. We're all situated now. So
yeah, and Pops wants to know if Rabbi wants fries with that for the $4.99. But yeah, we appreciate it. We don't expect any money, you know. But it's definitely appreciated, and we just appreciate everyone being on the chat. That's really awesome. You know, we just do this for the fun of it. But let's move on to some next questions. And if y'all have any questions for KB, definitely shout them out. Oh, Dave G said he follows 30 KB and was sent over from you, so I appreciate that. All right, next question. And this could be an easy one, and I kind of think might know the answer, but they might not know. What is your favorite round, if you have to pick one? Like
okay,
caliber. Caliber.
Yeah. So I'll give you a favorite round for pistol. It's going to be, of course, the 9mm.
Okay.
And the reason being is that I try to restrict the purchases that I make to 9mm, 45 caliber, and 40 cal. Now, a lot of people want to ask why 40 cal. Well, because it's a great round. I don't care what anybody says. It's maybe not as widely used as the 9mm, and 9mm is coming out with some extremely great rounds. The HSTs, the Hydroshocks, all those things. They're usable. You get a lot of capacity out of them, but they still remain. And I love it when I walk into a gun store, a 40 caliber pistol, and they're like, "Why is this thing so cheap?" And a lot of people go, "Well, nobody wants it because it's 40 cal." Give it to me. I reload 40. I don't care.
Yeah. And you can also buy a barrel. You can buy a 9mm barrel for most of them, and
exactly.
Just pop it right in.
I just bought. I've got a USP, HK USP on layaway. I paid $400 for it, and it was in 40 cal. Which I'm going to leave it in 40 cal because that's what that gun was designed to shoot.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know, but that particular pistol was designed around that round, or for that round. So real interesting. In rifle, you know, as you merge out into some other areas, you know, you're looking at the 6.5 Creedmoor is probably my new favorite round. You know, you're always going to shoot 5.56, 223, but the 6.5 Creedmoor is just a massive, amazing round that you can do a lot with. As distant hunting, whatever it is, you've got it in an AR platform. Secondly, you know, you can go ahead and you can do you can change the upper right into a 308. You know, there's a lot of things, a lot of versatility there. Coming next week, we're moving into something new that I've never dealt with before, but I figured it was time. Is a 300 blackout. So, and for those guys who are waiting for me to do the review on the AK-47. The PSAK-47. A lot of people have asked, why haven't you gotten this out? Why aren't you doing this? Well, I tell you what, it's just like anything. I've grown to where people want to, they listen to my channel. I'm supposed to know what I'm talking about. So I need to make myself more familiar with the AK platform before I can even come across as somebody that's remotely knowledgeable on the subject. And I think what I'm going to do is come across with the upcoming videos on the AK is that let's experience this together. I'm a beginner. If you're into it to begin, hey, you know what? You're going to learn from my mistakes, hopefully, and we'll have fun while we're doing it. I'm working in conjunction with Primary Arms, Dimitri over there, and they've sent me the 3x Prism Scope, the Gen 2, for the AK platform, as well as the 300 Blackout. So we're going to be using that, crossing it over between the 300 Blackout and the AK-47.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, for those caliber rounds we were talking about, my choice would be 9mm for pistol, and I definitely love 45. But 9mm for pistol, you know, of course, 5.56, 223. But I'm a 308 guy. I'm old school, you know, and I'm you know, the elder. I think I'm even older than you. But I just love the old school 308, and I don't have any experience really with the 6.5. But you know, I'm sure I would enjoy it too. And I have other hunting rifles, 243s, stuff like that, but 7mm, all that good stuff. But I just love the 308. I like to feel the thump. But we do have a question from REB. He said, does anyone know if CZ has plans to make an RMR ready pistol, P10 or P07 or P09? And I did talk to CZ at the NRA show. I talked to CZ and I talked to CZ Customs, and CZ Customs already does it. But CZ is, I asked them specifically about the P10, P07, and the P09, and they were like, oh, you know, we can't talk about it right now. It's one of those things. So that probably means, yes, it's coming, but who knows when, and they kind of wouldn't tell me. So that's kind of where we are with that. But I definitely want to know myself too. Another question, and I don't have a lot of experience with this. What 10 millimeter pistol do you like and why?
Well, I'll tell you what, I know somebody that has a lot of experience with the 10 millimeter pistol, and I carry one. Mm-hmm. That gentleman has a lot of experience, and here's the thing: he's a big Tanfo guy. Yep. So the Tanfo 10 millimeters is, from what I understand, a pretty good, reliable 10 millimeter. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's a double stack or staggered, so you can, or is it a single?
No, it's double. It holds 15. The Tanfo Limited Pro is the one that I want, the 10 millimeter, and it holds 15. Now you can get extended mags for it too, but standard is 15 plus one in the pipe.
That's a whole lot of bang bang right there, man.
Yeah, and you know, if you're looking for a great 10 millimeter, you know, the Tanfo Limited, gosh, you can get that gun for like $1,100, and it's hard chrome. I mean, the thing is beautiful, and I've got the stock 2 Tanfo. And there is not a damn thing wrong with those pistols. They are awesome pistols. The only 10 millimeter I've shot is the 10 millimeter Glock. And, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal. Everybody's like, oh, it'll blow you backwards. No, it doesn't. But, you know, it was fun to shoot. But, you know, when you're talking about ammo, it's just, you can't just walk in a place. A lot of places, some places don't even carry 10 millimeter. Some do, but it's like, we got 2 boxes of it and that kind of stuff. So you run into that with some of the places I go to.
Yeah, Inside Freedom. I was talking about the guys talking about the 1911 frame. You know, all serious in '88, he's talking about the 1911. You've got the Delta 1911 from Colt. Rock Island Armory's got a badass 10 millimeter double stack in the SF Ultra Tac, and that would be a worthwhile firearm. Everybody, you know, Philippines make a damn good gun, brother. I mean, you know. Might not be made in America. The tolerances, I think, are loosened up over time a little bit more. But Rock Island Armory is a solid gun.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to buy one of those in Austin, a 10 millimeter Rock Island, and it was a really nice pistol. But I was just like, man, that's another caliber I would have to stockpile, because I don't just buy a couple of boxes. You know, like you, I buy a lot.
Well, I like to try to have. Well, Vanessa, the Kunin, that's a 357 Magnum. That's I've had an opportunity. One of the guys was out at the gun show out here, and I think Kunin does make a 10 millimeter.
Yeah,
the one I shot, the 357, and that was a beast of a gun. It really was. But here's where, and we always talk about this on the side chat. Like, I was talking earlier to my brother about the 300 Blackout, and he says, "Man, how much are those rounds?" And I said, "Well, I don't care, because I've got the dies on the way."
Yeah.
So, you know. You get in that whole thing about how much does a round cost. You know, in 10 millimeters the same way. We get people out at the range all the time shooting 10 millimeter, just leave your brass on the ground. I'm just like, so I got a small bucket full of 10 millimeter brass sitting at the house. So in the event that down the road, you know, I want to buy one, it's not a big deal. I'll go ahead and do it, because all you got to do is order the dies, and you're reloading. It's not an issue.
Another 10 millimeter I really like is the Dan Wesson. It's got the suppressor sights and the threaded barrel. That thing is awesome. I would definitely love to have that pistol.
That's a pretty sick one.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The real Cobra Burnout is in the house. Did anybody tell you how
Burnout? Sweet. Yes, cool. The 30-06 is a great round. Big Al's saying that, and I really like the 30-06 too, especially in a good old lever action. Man, you can't beat a 30-06 in a lever action.
Well, I tell you what, one of the things that I'm going to start getting into probably in the next year, not this year. I mean, I've got the whole year is accounted for what upcoming acquisitions, but the 300 Win Mag is something that I want to get involved with. And our good friend WTF SoCal, that guy doesn't do anything half-ass. I mean, he went out and bought an Accuracy International and 6.5 Creedmoor and 300 Win Mag. You get at the barrel change outs. And man, that is around. And a lot of the guys that are out in overseas, they're actually going from the 338 to the 700 Win or the 300 Win Mag just because of the weight reduction in it. And not only in the rounds just as potent, but as well as the platform is half the weight or near it. So it'll be interesting to see what in the world we're going with.
Yeah, they're definitely badass. Keith Gregory, is CZ ever going to make a single stack? And we've talked about this on chats before. I would really like to have a double action, single action, like a PO7, maybe call it like a PO5. I think that'd be pretty cool. Hold 8 or 9 rounds or whatever. I think that'd be a cool gun, and I'd definitely buy it. I'd replace it, like for a shield or something like that. And I really like my shield, but I think it'd be badass to have like a PO5 or something like that. What do you think about that?
You're talking about maybe having a micro.
Well, like a single stack CZ, because CZ doesn't make single stacks other than their 9mm, like their 1911s, but talking like a PO7, PO9, something like that, maybe a style like that.
Just thinking about, you go back to, and here's my thing about gun companies that are pumping out new models left and right. And I think we've seen it both in the P10C, you've seen it in the 365. And one of the reasons people are like, when are you getting the 365? And I go, when they iron their shit out.
Yeah.
And I waited for the P10C. And that's, when 1776 is like, I've had nothing but problems. And then this is the reason why I wasn't in a hurry to get one.
Yeah.
And when the time comes, I was going to get it. But I was going to wait till they ironed their systems out. And this also applies to the 365. So I think that if a gun company, and I'm going to get to the question here in a second, because I think it's a really cool, usable, sellable idea. SIG's been doing it for years. Yeah. Maybe not to the size of the 365, but maybe closer to a 290. Yeah. That's a great gun. It's a single double action only. It's a great little firearm. It's got the Kellerman trigger system in it, and it's smooth as butter. It's a 380. That's my only problem with it. So I think that if CZ came out with something that was like Taurus PT-111 Gen 2 size and a double action, single action, I think it would be a hot seller. I really do. As well as the P10C if they came out with a smaller version. I mean, if they came out with 2 of those, and the problem is after my next CZ purchase, I'm done with CZ. Yeah. I'm not buying anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've got plenty. I've had people say, which CZ you're going to buy next? I'm like, I have a ton of them, so I can't think of anything that, is just blowing my socks off. And as far as anything new, I mean, I know 1776, I waited for my P10C also, and I haven't had one problem with it. It's been a great pistol. And, they are releasing the full size and the subcompact also.
I hope they don't make them in urban gray, because then I'm screwed.
Yeah. I don't know if they're, I was going to say, who knows?
In all seriousness, they asked me up here, do I run any 9mm carbines? And it's interesting that you say that. I've got an event that's coming up here very soon. And I've always wanted to try the 9mm carbine. And so the answer will be yes. I'm working on a deal with a company right now that hopefully is going to allow me to purchase one of their baddest ass this thing is going to be awesome. And one of the reasons why I'm excited about it is that it's locally owned. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say anything about it until it's actually sitting in my hands, because if it's not, then I got to go buy one actually from a local person. I don't want that one. I want it, but it's a real neat company. They're local, and I'm real excited about it. If it doesn't come to fruition, then I got to rush out and put something together real quick. But yeah, I'm actually going to be doing it. So yeah. And then Hunts for Food, Tibersaurus Rex. I've watched his whole Sniper 101 series. That guy used to bomb here, he's from the Minnesota area. Shows English.
As far as carbines, I have the CZ Scorpion pistol with the foldable brace, and it's awesome. I love it. I haven't had one bit of problem with it. Changed out the trigger and the charging handle to HB Industries, and is even better.
Didn't you do the safety lever on it as well?
Do what now? Yes, I've got the Apex. I've got the Apex AK safeties, and have the AK grip on it, the Apex grip, and I really like it a lot better. But yeah, it's an awesome pistol.
Yeah,
I haven't put a can on mine, but I know we shot one with a can on it at the farm, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and that's another reason you can put a can on it and cross-reference over it. But to answer Bald Curious's question, no, it's not a PSA.
Yeah, and he's saying Grand Power makes a P11 a little smaller than a P07. Yeah, and I shot Bald's P11 at the farm, and I liked it. It was a nice shooting pistol. Let's see here. Yeah, we appreciate all y'all being on. It's awesome. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't think Bald and Curious's 365 is broken yet, so I think you're still good with it. You know, as far as
Craig, I'm trying to keep up with some questions here. Craig was asking about the Ruger AR-556 MPR. You know, I don't have any experience with that specific firearm, but Ruger, they do come out. Bald, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. Oh, wait a minute.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
But no, where was I? The Ruger comes out. They've got some great products, and that's a good one as well. I just don't have any personal experience with it.
Yeah, I don't either. I've had a couple of the M&P Sports, still own one, the 15 and AR-15, and it's a great rifle too. But they both have lifetime warranties, so if anything went wrong, they'd take care of it. Rabbi Jesus is saying, what's the 97B? That is CZ's 45, and it's a great pistol. I own one, and I have seen a 97B that someone upfitted to a 10 millimeter, and I was hoping that we would get that soon, but it was just a prototype, and they were doing it for testing, so that was quite a while ago. But yeah, the 97B is a great shooting pistol for a 45.
Okay, well, okay. So I was done with CZ until I got. I have to have that.
Yeah, so it's a great pistol. You know, they've got the B and the BD. One just has a decocker, and one has a safety. Mine is a safety model, and I prefer it. But you can carry it cocked and locked. But it's a nice shooter.
Now let me ask you.
I think Paul had one at one time too. I think
you did. When you say carrying would you carry a double action, single action in condition one?
Yeah, I've carried 1911s before.
No, what I'm saying is a double action, single action in condition one.
Yeah, I mean, you can, it doesn't really matter because, well, the thing about now on that one, that's safety only, but on the like the P09, P07, you can change them for the safeties. You can, with the Omega system, you can switch it out and put the safety on it or the decocker, whichever you choose.
Right.
But hell, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, as long as you've got the safety and you know how to work it, I've never had a problem with any of them.
Well, 1911, I will carry in condition one. It's just, I've had that argument before with a couple of people, and it's not necessarily an argument, but what it is a polite debate on why would you carry a double action, single action in a condition one. Well, you know what? If you're in competition like the Shadow 2, we start in 3-gun in a condition one with this, locked and cocked with a safety back, and that's just so you don't pull that first round off on a double action standpoint. You can start the double action, but why if you can do that?
Well, see, in USPSA, you have to start at production. You have to start with the hammer down. So, you have to drop the hammer physically. Or if you have a decocker, you can decock it. But yeah, like on the Shadow 2, I've got to drop the hammer on those. You got to start out in double action. If it's single action only, you can run a safety, but that's the only way you can do it. So it just, with whatever you're shooting and whatever the particular rules are at that time. But either way, I mean, hell, I know how to drop a hammer. You know how to drop a hammer. I've seen a lot of people not know how to drop a hammer and throw a round down range, but or their fingers slip off of it. They're sweaty and stuff like that. So that happens too.
Well, all you gotta do is get a pair of lock grips. Your fingers won't be slipping anywhere.
No, I'm talking about on the hammer when you're dropping the hammer physically. You know, I've seen people.
I want to just, talk about lock grips. Lock grips for those grips that you need not to get slippery.
Yeah,
lock grips.
They're great grips. Like I mean, I joke around, like, and this, like your shadows and all that stuff come with the nice shiny grips, and they're all pretty. And I said, man, those make great Instagram pictures, but you shoot that thing in competition and it gets sweaty. They suck. I mean, I've got plenty of them in a box that I've just taken off pistols and chunked in a box.
Tally ho is in the neighborhood.
Some people like them, some people don't.
Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna be reaching out to him here in a little bit just to. I've got the CZ75B with the Omega trigger coming, and with the better of the array suppressor sights. Yeah. The old style versus the PNC. I mean, now here's my thing. Let's get on this deal right now. Why in the hell did they change to that different sight?
I told you, CZ changed night sight manufacturers completely. So they went away from the old sight manufacturer and they went with the new sight manufacturer, which I don't like. You don't like. They're worthless. That little orange circle is. They're no good. Matter of fact, and this, I mean, when I put my P09 or P07 urban gray down in a hotel room, I can see that thing across the room lighting up. But the other ones, they're just so tiny. And I don't mind that the rears are blacked out because I like a blacked out rear. But man, those other ones are just so damn bright. I mean, it's a lot larger vial. I think they're just a better sight on the old ones.
Better sight. Here's my thing is that, and to answer your question, Insight Freedom, it was my last CZ, but I forgot about the 97B. So
I'll send you mine and you can shoot it a bunch. Make sure you want one.
Well, I shot it last time we were at the farm. It's one that I want. I think it's an amazing firearm. All steel construction is bad. There's only a couple CZs that I probably won't spend money on. And one is the Phantom.
Yeah.
Because I don't. Why?
Yeah, if you've got a P09 or a P07, I personally don't like the hook type trigger, and I think you're in the same boat. But a lot of people,
the Rammy. I wouldn't buy the Rammy.
Yeah.
And what's the PCR? No.
Yeah, PCR. It's like the
that
PO1.
One I might like to buy.
Yeah.
I might like to have that one.
I prefer the PO1 because you get the little light rail, and it's also 6 ounces heavier in the front end. Not that they're super snappy either way, but
I think it's a good-looking firearm. It's classy. It's something that's a tuxedo gun. You'd wear that out, when you're going tuxedo dancing. I only want one more gun, Pops. That's it.
Just one more. That's what we always tell. Well, and I was going to say, in all seriousness, I know he's joking around, but he's saying that I carry 2-pound triggers. He'd have to hold all of his farts in. And I've been beat up a lot with comments having light triggers, but I actually prefer light triggers. I shoot them a lot better. And, the bad thing is once you shoot pistols with really great triggers, and I'm being honest, you kind of become a trigger snob. And you just want a better trigger on a lot of your pistols if you're able to get that. So I just prefer a lighter trigger, and I'm not going to put my finger on it because that's your bang switch. And use the safety between your ears, and you're going to be fine. And I carry these super light triggers in the appendix, and everybody says I'm going to blow my junk off. So, I just do what I'm going to do, and they can do what they want to do. I just leave it at that.
If you do, in fact, blow your junk off, will you make sure you do a video? As well as take a lot of photos. Instagram. I know you're new on Instagram, so make sure that we get a lot of photos on there.
And then I'll lose my nickname.
It'll be either Half Johnson or 3/4 Johnson.
Oh, well, no, you gave me a different nickname, so I'll lose that one.
Dumpy. Oh yeah. Okay, so never mind.
We'll leave that alone.
Kickstand.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Leave that alone.
So I'll tell you what happened to me tonight. You guys, y'all may understand this, but when you do YouTube channels, and the problem is with my deal, I've gotten hooked into doing one a day, and it's a lot of work. So while but I have the luxury of being out of town quite a bit, and also the luxury of having several shooting ranges that are just amazing near me. But like today, I sat out there. I was doing a shooting my competition rifle, testing out ammunition, and the damn camera, it was running, but it lost all the memory because of the heat. And I mean, literally, guys, if y'all don't know this, I mean, I was sitting down here in the apartment as we hit the go live button. I went, all day long.
It was running through the place.
Yeah. This is what I'm drinking today there, SoCal. I mean, no, Bald. But I did experience. Dude, I tell you what, it'd be nothing like having a little cocktail right now. But I'm
it's a big cocktail.
I'm holding off on that till the weekends. But I was testing out ammunition on my comp rifle just to see if there was something that I could shoot that was comparable to a hand load, and there wasn't. But the new Hornady Frontier, I was shooting at 75 grains, and I kept having malfunctions until I found out what was causing it. It was the primers were blowing out of the backside of it.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, that it out of the 20-round box, it had 3 of them blow out the rear. So that was interesting.
I saw your pictures on Instagram, and that's another thing, for people who want to see, mine and Kotaboys, and a lot of us do that. We throw stuff up on Instagram that we might not necessarily do a video on. We just throw stuff up on Instagram because I've got stuff on Instagram that I've never even done videos on, kind of behind the scenes stuff. So, it is a lot of fun. But another question, okay, and a lot of inquiry minds want to know, how many ARs have you built? If you don't want to say, you don't have to say.
All right, so I've assisted. Let's just say that since I started the YouTube thing, and I actually just started the channel seriously probably in 2014, 2015. Yeah, 2000. I can't remember when my first video came out. Since then, I've probably built over 50.
Damn.
And my fastest time building a full-blown from all stripped down, barrel nut, everything, putting the lower together, we actually timed it. I did one at 13 minutes.
Damn. Well, I was going to say, I've been around you personally, and I know your product like Pops and SoCal and Live for Wild, all those guys, man. Y'all know your stuff. So I just recently built my first upper, and hell, you donated some stuff. John did from Live for Wild. Bald did, SoCal did, and I call that the farmer's rifle, and it's awesome. I really, really like it. So, but all right, let's see here. If you had to pick one pistol, one pistol. What's your favorite pistol? Only one. And not AR. Pistol.
Okay, well, it's going to come down between 2 pistols, and I'm going to get my balls beat for one, and it's
your choice.
Right. So, of course, the Shadow 2 is probably one of the better fit pistols I've ever had, but there's one in the collection that is just a not very often seen, and it's a Springfield, and it's the V16. And I picked that thing up. The guy didn't know what it was or how rare it is. I mean, it is a very, I don't want to say very rare because they're out there, but it is one of the coolest 1911s I have, and it is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And whether or not it's old school, it was made back in the 90s.
Yeah.
and it's as crisp today as it was back then. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people are picking some good choices. 5904, Smith & Wesson 365, Glock 19, 1911, or 2011, 229. And see, the one I thought you were going to pick is your TAC Ops. So I thought it was going to be between the Shadow 2 and your TAC Ops, because I know you shoot the TAC Ops very well.
You know what? I totally forgot about that gun.
Yeah, I know you shoot it well. So that's the one that I thought you were going to throw out there. But yeah, you're the 16, that thing's awesome, with the 8 ports on each side. As a matter of fact, when you bought that gun and you told me what you paid for it, I about freaked out and tried to buy it from you 15 times. But that thing is badass. And I even tried to find them. Hell, I never could find one, even on Gun Broker or anything. So they're kind of a rare bird.
It's a fun gun to shoot. Plus, you've got that thing was designed to shoot the 45 Super. And it's got the 23-pound spring and an 18 or 17-pound spring. You can change them out, either one, but it'll handle real heavy loads. And it's a beast to have fun, especially when you get some slow burning powder, and you can see it looks like a dragster with that stuff coming up.
Yeah. No, I've seen it blowing some flames. It's pretty badass. If I have to pick, we've had this conversation before, but. Of course, your Shadow 2, I love the Shadow 2. It's probably one of my favorite pistols. However, that's an all-steel gun, and it is heavy, so if it was my only gun, I had to carry it all the time, stuff like that, it's kind of a beast. And I've wagged it around many times at competitions, and it'll wear you out. But if I had to pick one pistol, it would probably be my P09 Urban Gray, just because of the lightness, the amount that it'll hold. Hell, it's 22 plus 1. Or 21 plus 1, so you can, and that's just standard, but you can even get extensions for those. But it's a great pistol, and I have put a shitload of rounds through mine. Matter of fact, I have 2 P09s and 2 P07s. That's how much I like them. so that way I can have a backup. But
that P09 is just that's an amazing gun. As a matter of fact, that was one of the guns I was considering trying to turn into a race gun.
Yeah.
And then Pop's Quest was like, don't do it. Just get the Shadow. Then I bought the
I was telling you to do that too. I remember we had that conversation too.
Yeah. And I got the SP01. I was going to trick that one out. Then it was like, then I did the math, put it all together, and I was like, well, you know what? Let's go over here and get the Shadow 2. But there's something about the Shadow. I remember the first time some guy handed me a CZ75 and I didn't like it. I was like, just feels weird in my hand. I didn't know the weirdness was going to become like an addiction. So
yeah. Actually, Jeff's got a really good question. Guns you would never sell.
Okay, so that is a great question, and I will tell you this is that I have a problem selling any gun.
Yeah.
Because I don't buy a gun to flip or to turn around and trade. I don't buy a gun so that I can turn around and trade it for another gun so I can turn around. And let's face it, unless you're buying collector guns or something of a rare, or the market's gone ape shit, guns are not an investment. I don't care if you can sit there and tell me, oh, yeah, I bought this gun. The only way you can turn around and flip a gun is if you got somebody who was needing money real bad and you gave him half of what that gun will wholesale for.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to turn around. Now, this is why I try my damnedest to buy used guns that are in new condition. They come in the box. They come with all the magazines. They come with all the paperwork, because typically if you can buy a used gun and you find a good deal, then you can at least sell it on the market, not to a dealer, but on the market for more or what you paid for it.
Yeah.
So,
well, and you know that buying guns is kind of like buying cars.
Yeah.
You're going to take a little bit of a hit on them. Sometimes not bad, especially if it's an in-demand gun. Maybe like a 365 when it was in demand, or when the P10s first came out. If you could grab them at the right time, shoot them a little bit, maybe do some videos on it and flip it and still make money or break even. That's cool. But some of the older guns, it's really hard to do that with. But I'm not opposed to buying used guns. I've bought plenty of used guns, and I have sold guns that I've completely fell out of love with. You know, I'll lay some out, and I'll just be like, I hadn't shot that thing in 2 years. I hadn't shot that one, and you know, I'll have a little questionnaire with myself. I'm sure other people do that, but I don't make it a habit of it. But I have sold some. So,
yeah, it's I think the only gun that I ever got rid of, and I don't mean I sold it, I got rid of it.
Yeah.
Because it was a hunk of shit.
I know which one it is.
The Walther PK380. And I did a video on why that thing was a hunk of junk. And hey, Mattia, and I got ridiculed. There were people like, you're shutting on a gun if you don't know what you're doing. I'm like, yeah, well, you obviously, well, I'll tell you what, you have fun with your Walther PK380.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
And you figure out how to take it down, and you watch 30 YouTube videos, and you get the tool out, and you figure out this and figure out that. You figure out the drive spring, and you just have fun playing with your Umarex airsoft 380 wannabe piece of shit firearm. Now, I will tell you this, though. It's one of the most ergonomic 380s you will ever put in your hand.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a very nice feeling pistol. But, you know, like when you were talking about and you got that, I was like, man, that's the one. And it wasn't my pistol, but a buddy of mine had that particular one. And, man, he was always having to run a bore snake through it. It would carbon up really bad. I mean, he would shoot 20 or 30 rounds and it would carbon up. And I was just like, screw that gun. But
207P4.
What?
That was just Mattia.
But I did want to show something, and I'm only going to show it on this chat for right now. The Ruger 2245 is done, and this is what Channel Cat I wanted him to hang out for, if he's still with us. But it is actually done. So this will be the new Space Force gun, and it's tell you what, this Apex trigger on this thing that I put on it, and I kind of put that out on Instagram today. This Apex trigger is unbelievable.
Is it an Apex trigger?
It's an Apex trigger. If you can see it, it's the hook trigger or the flat trigger, and this thing is pulling at 3 pounds and 11 ounces.
Oh my God!
Dude. It's got a tandem cross compensator on it. It has a extended 1911 safety on it. It has a Halo charging handle on it, which is super easy. It's got the magazine disconnect in it. This thing is, man, the trigger, of course, you can dry fire this one, but the trigger on this thing is, I mean, it's absolute butter.
Did that come with the extended mag release on it, or did you put that on there also?
Yeah, no, it's got it does have the extended mag release on it too. And this thing's awesome. But this trigger, look at this thing, watch. There's the reset. I'll just keep talking here so it'll show. But there it is right there. And then there's the pull. But 3 pounds, 10 ounces. And this thing it's freaking crazy. Now, taking it apart and putting it together, if you have a 2245 and you choose to do it, Apex just released 2 videos, one teardown and one assembly, and just put them on their channel. And I tell you what, those things were a lifesaver, because when I pulled this thing apart, I was like, holy crap, what did I get into? There's all kinds of little parts, little springs, and I was just like, holy crap. But yeah, this is my little space gun, but this thing is
awesome, man.
Yeah, this thing is freaking badass. So, and I've got some competition mags, and the reason why I bought it is I'm actually going to shoot steel challenges with it, because I've shot a bunch of steel challenges, but man, these guys with these little 22s are just kicking ass, and there will be a red dot put on there. I don't know what I'm going to use yet, but yeah, these guys are just dominating with these little 22s, and I was just like, man, and they even do a 22 night class, so you can shoot it at night, turn your light on, and I just thought, well, what the hell, I'll grab this thing, and but that Apex trigger changed the whole damn pistol. So pretty happy with it. Real quick, we're getting a little closer. Okay. Did you have any questions that you were thinking about, or have we seen anything that came through?
You know what? Not too much. I mean, if you guys have any questions for me, you know what's funny is I did a video a couple of days ago, and one of the things that I mentioned in, and I don't know if I might edit it out, but for all the old veterans, one of the things that when you fire or shoot, when you shoot your AR for the first time after you've been out of the military for several years, and you guys can comment, and all the vets, the smell of the powder is one of the things that it just brought back. You want to talk about memories, and the sense of smell is attached to so many different memories. It is one of the most amazing things that you'll ever experience, man. And that is one of the reasons why. Damn, Mattia, I didn't know you was unsubbed to me. I noticed you haven't been commenting on any of my videos lately, but it's just one of those things that it's amazing. It just brings back so many memories. It's unbelievable. Yeah. The best rifle, best groups for 1,000 yards you've shot. All right, so the 6.5 Creedmoor is probably one of the latest and greatest. I do have a 6.5 Swedish Mauser that I have shot 1,000 yards with, and it will do it all day long. And the difference is in the round between the 6.5 Creedmoor and the Swedish Mauser is about an inch. It is that much of a bigger round. But I've got a sporterized version of that. And it's got a Timmy trigger with about a 2 1/4 pound trigger on it, and it will launch them. That's my deer rifle, but I have shot that out to 1,000.
Yeah. Personally, I've never shot 1,000 yards, so I don't know.
It's you know what, and it's easy. It's really easy. People think it's oh my gosh, all it is math, and doing your homework, and just going out. You go out there, you kind of have a generalized idea. You get a spotter, can walk it in, and next thing you know is pang. Once you get the dope set up right there, yeah, man, it's exhilarating to watch it go.
I would like to do it. I've just never been to a place that had 1,000 yard range where I could shoot. The farthest I think I've ever. I mean, we have some land, but it's not really. Not really huntable now with the hogs, or well, with the way it's torn up. But it's probably 400 yards open. So, but hell, it's 2.5 hours away one way. So it's not super easy to just run down and go to.
Well,
but yeah, no, I think it would be awesome to go out and try. And I've got some long rifles. There was a question, and I don't know if you have one. Do you have any surplus rifles? Or old?
Well, the 6.5 Swedish Mauser was an old surplus that we had sporterized. That's probably one of the best actions that in a round that's ever been devised. That Mauser, besides the 8mm. I have a SKS Chinese Norinco that I put a damn black Monte Carlo stock on it. I wish I'd never done that.
Yeah.
But who knew back then, man? That was I've had that rifle since I was like 18, 17 years old.
Yeah.
And that was back in the day, man. When my first SKS, I had that thing decked out with all kinds of crazy. It weighed probably 20 pounds, but it was a cool rifle, man. It had the folding stock and the 30 round mag and all the other crap on it. But my father was big into collecting World War II, World War I, Korean era firearms, Enfields, the Garand. He had all the M1 carbines from every manufacturer that made them, because they General Motors made an M1 carbine. People, I mean, it was amazing, but that was back in the day when you could buy them for $150, $200. Hell, if I had that collection now, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, I probably the oldest rifle. Well, I have a bunch of old collector 22 long rifles. I love pumps and stuff like that, old ones. But I have my grandfather's actual German Mauser, and now he was a pilot for the Americans, but he was in the German War, and he brought this back from Germany, and it's an 8mm Mauser, and it actually still has the emblems on it, if you know what I'm talking about. And I've done videos on it way back if anybody wants to see it, but it actually has the symbols on it, clear as day. So they weren't ground off, and that one really means a lot to me, and it actually shoots. I've shot it many times, and it's a thumper.
Well, my father, he had, we had, every one of our kids in our family had a Mauser. Yep. That was the damn rifle of choice. And one of the best ones is the 8mm Bruno Mauser. It has 8 locking lugs. As a matter of fact, the thing is that the Weatherby Mark V is actually modeled after that action. And that's just a great thing.
I remember when everybody threw them in buckets, like at gun shows. You could buy the old ones. They would grind them up or grind the symbols off of them, and you could buy them for like $200. And but yeah, this one's pristine, so I'm really proud to have it.
It's leave it the way it is. I mean, because mine's been porterized, I almost thought about sending it off and having a match barrel replaced on that action, because a lot of the long distance and precision rifle series PRS guys are shooting those flatter rounds. That 6.5 is a very light round. So Cobra asked about the civilian marksmanship program where they're selling the surplus 1911s. I don't have any experience with those guys other than I would like to get down there and shoot the one in Talladega at the range down there. But if they're available, man, that would be something to jump on. If you can find something that's not beat the hell out of, I mean,
where you could sit there and just rattle the slide on it. I've seen some of those like that, but I haven't seen any that they're selling. So personally, but nothing against a good tight 1911. Hell, I've had some where it took 1,500 rounds to break in.
Yeah, that it'd be interesting to see. And LZ USA, no, I did not test it with the 60 grain. I'm letting that thing rest for a few days. I had to get away from it because, well, I tell you what. Here's one of the things that I was doing. I was making a lot of mistakes shooting that rifle. One is I was shooting it off of a bipod. I wasn't front loading the bipod. I wasn't putting pressure on it. There was a lot of fundamental things that I wasn't doing properly, and I was recognizing that because I was trying something new. And like for instance, today I went back to shooting my 3-gun rifle, and I usually shoot off of my backpack. Almost every gun that I've ever shot or done a video is done shooting from my backpack, other than my Mark 12. And the Mark 12, I always shot with the Harris bipod, and the Harris bipod, you can front load the bipod. Now, in the videos when I was shooting the Valkyrie, I was using a knockoff of the Atlas bipod. And that knockoff, what happens is the legs rotate. So you can't front load it unless it's pressed up against something like a stop or into the ground. In a real Atlas, the legs don't spin. So you can actually load you can load the bipod up, you can bring it back, you can load it up, you can put the pressure into your shoulder, and you can shoot it the way it's supposed to be shot. Now, I'll probably bring that rifle back out, and the 60 grain is a grain that I want to try because of the 1-7 twist. The heavier grains, the ideal twist rate for those rounds is a 6.5 twist rate. And unfortunately, I don't have it. I did have a lot of luck with the 75 grain. Those did really, really well. The 90 grains I thought did okay. I thought the 88 ELDs would have done better than they did, but they did not. And it was just, but I think that was more my fault than it was the round nor the rifle. So in order for me to just kind of reassess what was going on, I had to just back off and let that thing sit there for a few minutes.
We do have a question. Ches is asking Kotaboy. He's saying, like, what's your favorite American gun or gun like favorite gun product? What's your favorite American-made gun? I know mine. American-made.
Kotaboy32's ARs. Now, you know what's interesting is that I've only actually had 1 or 2 ARs that I've actually bought or had sent to me that were already put together. The majority of the ones I built out of custom parts that I wanted to build. As far as American firearm, first of all, I got to think of what I own.
You own one. I know your collection better than you do.
What do I have?
Smith & Wesson.
All right, yeah. I tell you what, one of the best pistols ever made. The M&P 9mm.
Yeah, they're great pistols, and they make great ARs, you know, that are made right here. So, and I have the ARs and I have the pistols, and haven't had any problems with them. Oh, I did with the Bodyguard 380 when they released it in the M&P without the Crimson Trace. They had to replace the magazine release, but I got the very first release. I had my name on one, and they had to replace the mag release because you had to push the button to load the mag. So the mag catch was bad, so they changed that out. Matter of fact, and it would shoot flat tips, but it wouldn't shoot round nose. So the feed ramp was at the wrong angle, so they had to put a new barrel in it too.
Yeah,
I was like, hey, that's 80% of the gun, but it really wasn't. But yeah, and the 1522 is probably one of the best 22s ever made. I love mine.
Yeah,
fact, Humble Marksman was over.
I want to get that, or I want to get my son. He's got the little lever action, and it's not really stepping up to the game. But I want to get a Ruger 1022, so that, and I want to put a scope on it so he can actually start. Well, I think what I want to do is move him into a bolt action single shot first, so he can start learning about that. Yeah, Barrett pops. Yeah, that is the most amazing cannon in the entire free world.
Yeah, I think the 1522, and I've let my little cousins shoot it. And I mean, they just tear it up, you know. And it's, of course, it's great because it's on the low, shooting cheap, you know, like good practice for your AR. But I really love my little 1522, and it's all tiger striped out and crap. I've got videos on it, but I waited for that edition to come out, and I really like it. It's a great shooting rifle.
They've got some nice ones out there. Matt, to answer your question, I'd have to pull them out to count them. You know what? Here's so funny because I got into pistols more than I did rifles, and I'm trying to balance all of it up. The PSA-K is American made, and by the way, that's probably got the smoothest trigger I've ever felt on any AK-47. They've developed a new trigger for that. It's built in house, and like I said, once we get probably in the next week or two, I will go ahead and break that thing out and do a full blown review on it. But what the hell was I getting ready to say? Talking about squirrel. Shit, I'm totally lost. What was I talking about?
You were talking about the AK trigger was being really smooth, and
I got sidetracked with that. Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, the 1022, want to get one of those, and I want to put a scope on it and just with a bipod and teach my son how to shoot 100 yards with a 22. Which I think would be really as good essential. I mean, teach the kids how to shoot a gun early, teaches them respect for the firearms. Here's the whole thing is that you could have an event where you accidentally leave your pistol. I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
But the idea is that your children should know proper etiquette around the firearms. You don't touch it. You don't move it. You don't look at it. You don't play with it. It's not a toy. If in the event that if you pick it up, you know not to point it or aim it or anything. Keep your finger off the trigger. Those are the kind of things that you teach a young child in the event that they find a gun. Absolutely. If they go to somebody's house and they see a handgun there, here's the thing, man. Even if I know a child from one of our neighbors is coming over, I will 360 the house. just to ensure that by mistake I didn't leave anything out. I know my kids know how to act around guns, but I don't know how those children know how to act around guns.
Never a bad idea, that's for sure. Well, it is getting that time, so it's 8 o'clock. Do you have what do you have coming up on your channel that you want to let everyone know about? And also, as a reminder, and Kotaboy put some, I'm sure a lot of people are subscribed to you, but just put a hello comment in there. And if you're not subscribed to Kotaboy, please go to his comment, hit go to channel and subscribe. And also, as far as all the other channels out here, please subscribe to them. There's a lot of great content makers out there. We've got people doing giveaways, all that stuff. 17 is, Insight Freedom, so check them out. But what do you have coming up, KB?
Well, I've got a shout out to Insight Freedom. He's celebrating 750 subscribers. I'd like to give a big shout out and congratulations to him. Man, that's huge. I honestly, I can remember every milestone in my growth in subscribers. I believe, Johnson, you won the 2,000 subscriber giveaway?
I thought it was 3,000. It was one or the other, but that's part of the reason that I got started into YouTube was because of you. And I think I won your 2,000 or 3,000 subscriber giveaway. So you definitely came a long way. And that's been less than 2 years ago.
Yeah. But yeah, we got some cool videos coming out this week. And like I said, man, just everybody keep busting an ass out there, work hard, make money. And let's hit the thumbs up button too before everybody leaves. And I really appreciate you inviting me on here. It's been a lot of fun without those other two guys here. They just monopolized the conversation, and especially that other dude from New York. 1776. You just got to get on your people. It's ridiculous that New York is doing what they're doing right now. And even though I'm not a member of any association, and I'm kind of proud of the fact that I'm not. But it doesn't mean I don't support them. Mm-hmm. And you know what? They get more money from me doing videos about their endeavors than they would about my $15 donation. So, Cuomo is a sack of shit. Yeah. So there you go.
And also, I'm going to be loading up on some straws, and I'm going to go in the black market, sell them to California. So and we'll even make some straw. Get Harry to make some straw holsters, so that way people can carry an armed straw with them at all times. Yeah, we all know how that's going, but I've got I will have the space gun review coming up. I just wanted to kind of show it to everybody and let them be aware of it. And this Apex trigger, you've got a 22, and they're only for the Mark IV so far, but these triggers are the bomb. So I'm super impressed with it. But I appreciate everyone being on. I'll be releasing, and I've had a lot of questions on this chat, the TLR7 versus the TLR1. And it's in my opinion, but that'll be releasing this week too. And I appreciate y'all as always. Thank you for jumping in. Thumbs up. Check us both out on Instagram. Also 17 and KS Gun Guy. Check them out on Instagram too. Like I said, we do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And always a pleasure to have Coda on. Great guy, has a lot of information. And that's what we want to do is share information with everyone because we all learn something every day. So that's kind of what it's all about.
And the minute you think you know everything, you always meet somebody who knows more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was going to say. Exactly. But I appreciate y'all being on with us this evening. Again, thank you, Coda. And KS and 17 will be back next week. They were out on assignment this week. And we appreciate y'all so much. So everyone, please carry on always. And, keep on keeping on. We appreciate y'all. Thank you very much, and have a great night, everyone.
Good night. You just disconnected everybody.